All right, you guys. Thought I'd do a little live stream and shit. Talk some boxing. Man, once again, man, shout out to the homie Ego. Um, I just been chilling, man, taking my fluids, drinking a lot of immune system tea, exercising, drinking a lot of water, make sure I'm good and shit, make sure, I don't get the virus, just taking care of myself. And it's kind of funny, man, um, when you driving around the city, going to all these stores. It is just amazing that you cannot get no hand sanitizer. Shit is hilarious. And the funny part about it is the Lysol company say that they got more orders in that they can fill. So basically, they backed up. They talking about they may not be able to get supplies out till later. Yeah, what's going on, man? Yeah, so they talked about they ain't gonna be able to get Lysol supplies and hand sanitizers. That shit is like gold and shit out here. But um, so, it is what it is. I'm supposed to be returning home actually tomorrow. So I should be home tomorrow. So make sure I have my mask and all that type of shit, the supplies and shit, wiping down the seats and shit. So, make sure everything is good. So can't wait to get back home. Got made sure my son was okay. So, that was cool. He home back out here doing well. No, I'm very safe. I'm very safe. I've been taking care of myself, like a champ. Like I say, if you go out in the streets, just drink a lot of tea, immune system tea. Keep your immune system up. Drink a lot of tea. Drink a lot of water. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much, exercise if you have to indoors and shit. You know, just constantly wipe your hands and shit. You know, um, if you don't have soap, you could take like a little teaspoon of bleach, scrub your hands with bleach. You know what I'm saying? And just wash it off. You'll be cool. You know. So anyway, now that I got through doing my public service message, let's talk turkey. All right. So this former, the dude, who was basically saying that hey, he got paid. Well, he was stiffed out of money, basically to provide documents that Tyson Fury failed his drug test because he was eating wild boar, which I thought sounded absurd in the first place. Basically came with the receipts, basically saying, hey, he was contacted. Hey, here's the documentation that they asked me to forge documentations, saying that Tyson Fury, you know, um, was supplied wild boar meat. And then he also had proof saying, hey, he never farmed wild boar in the first place. Yeah, Blue Hunters. At the end of the day, Tyson Fury and his fans. Well, it ain't even so much Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury just been real quiet. At the end of the day, Tyson Fury looked more suspicious than ever. And at the end of the day, a lot of his fans just can't accept the truth that Homeboy is just not legit. He a cheater, and that's just the bottom line. That's just real talk. I mean, I thought it was hilarious that basically they tried to deny, Glovegate. They tried to push this to the back burner. A lot of these fighters remained silent, you know, um, didn't want to say shit. And then you had people that basically said, hey, man, ain't something not right about this. You had Steve Cunningham. You had the brother that sparred with Tyson Fury and basically said, hey, man, you took the gloves. You took the patent out of the gloves. And then basically he got the receipts. Tyson Fury's former trainer, Ben Davison, threatening him and shit. Leave who alone? Leave who alone? Who, Tyson Fury? No, Tyson Fury, I'm not leaving nothing alone with Tyson Fury. Like I said, when it comes to guys like Tyson Fury, the evidence is overwhelming about him, being a cheater. He got a history with drugs, performance enhancing drugs, and, what you would call routine drugs. Casual drugs. Tyson Fury said out of his own damn mouth that he was going to score some cocaine after he beat Wilder. So, business as usual. But, at the end of the day, like I said before, you got these people making these false claims that people was just unfairly picking on Tyson Fury. Because, like I said, I can guarantee you. Oh, I'm not leaving. Oh, no. Tyson Fury, I'm not leaving Tyson Fury alone because at the end of the day, like I said, when Terrell Williams fought Pritchard Colon 5 years ago, I think 4 or 5 years ago, and Pritchard Colon ended up in a coma because one, he was getting hit to the back of the head, but a lot of those hits was because of him and because of his corner was too incompetent to just basically stop the fight. Pritchard Colon was getting his ass kicked. And he got put in the coma. And all I seen after that fight, I will never forget that. Keep in mind, 2015 is when I first started my YouTube channel. And all I seen was a whole bunch of racial slurs directed towards Terrell Williams. They said he needed to be in jail. They said he should never be allowed to fight again. You know, they said that he was getting called all kind of N words. For real. But now that it looked like Tyson Fury, and by the way, Terrell Williams got a point deducted from him as well as Tyson Fury. But now all of a sudden that Tyson Fury, you know, was rabbit punching Deontay Wilder. You got people telling, predominantly black channels to quit crying and leave it alone, and y'all too emotional. Typical, you know what I'm saying? That bullshit white language to try to suppress black people from expressing their thought, their train of thought. And like I said before, that shit don't work on me because at the end of the day, Tyson Fury appears to be a lifelong cheater. But nobody can explain. Everybody keep talking about, well, he might have did that, but he would have beat Deontay Wilder anyway. Well, okay, so, and that's what I'm saying. It come from, okay, well, we admit he did it, but he didn't have to because he could have beat Deontay Wilder anyway. Or how is it illegal? First of all, your gloves are supposed to be secure. Your hands are supposed to be secure in the gloves. That's why they made gloves with where your thumb is supposed to stick out, stick in the thumb area. Because the gloves they made 50 years ago was a little bit different. And you clearly see, and you could clearly see, you could clearly see that something wasn't right with Tyson Fury's gloves. You could clearly see that his gloves were not on properly. You had several fighters demonstrate how he could have an advantage while you had these idiots who don't know nothing about boxing, who don't know nothing about the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Because keep in mind, I was the first one that said that those people that work at the athletic commissions don't know what to look for because they don't have no boxing background. To be honest with you, they should have people that were former boxers or trainers, you know what I'm saying, or even referees make sure that the gloves is being properly wrapped. It's easy to get past the commission. If Margarito was able to do it for years with those cement gloves, why would it be so difficult for Tyson Fury to do it? And I just found that laughable when you had dudes like Jeff Mayweather saying, well, the commission is supposed to make sure, man, he know damn well people ain't got past the commission. Like I keep saying, all you got to do is go watch Andre Ward versus Mikhail Kessler. When Virgil Hunter said, "Hey man, you got too much Gus tape on, man. You got too much Gus tape on. You need to rewrap your hands." He basically was saying that Miguel Kessler was trying to stack his gloves. Now, keep in mind, I'm gonna give you another bit of history. A lot of people don't know. Nassim Richardson, the man that caught Antonio Margarito with those loaded gloves, is the same dude, basically, that said that Tito Trinidad that something was wrong with his gloves. You know that Tito Trinidad that his gloves was stacked, and then also Tito Trinidad used to dip his wraps in water, which you ain't. It all depends on what state you in. But in New York, that's supposed to be illegal. You're not supposed to dip your gloves in water to try to harden up the wraps, because it's supposed to enhance your power. So Nassim Richardson, he then spotted two fighters trying to do something that was not on the up and up. So if he spotted it, what makes you think these people from the New York State Athletic Commission or the California State Athletic Commission or the Nevada State Athletic Commission know what the fuck to look for? Okay. And like I said, this is one of the biggest cover ups in boxing. You got everybody know what Tyson Fury did in the Nevada State Athletic Commission playing these games. And as far as the WBC go, the WBC is full of shit too. So the WBC allow people to cheat. They full of shit, and they don't care about black fighters. You know, they don't care about black fighters, and they made that obvious. Here you have I think the WBA return yeah. Yeah, when you wet your gloves, Layla, when you wet your gloves, it makes them harder. It makes the tape harder, so it enhances your power. And Felix Trinidad was known for doing that. Yeah, so now Nassim once again he tied to catching two fighters attempting to you know to basically try to cheat. To me, Nassim Richardson should be in Deontay Wilder's corner. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Because, like I said before, when you used to watching somebody fight, look, Tyson Fury ain't never demonstrated that type of power to have somebody uh, bleeding like Wilder was bleeding. He ain't never had that type of power. And then, like I said, if you look at the rabbit punching, oh, what's up? And then if you look at the rabbit punching, Kenny Bayless should have been on him. So it was a lot of things that was going on with Tyson Fury that he was allowed to do. And then Deontay Wilder, he didn't look like himself in that fight. People say that he might have been drugged. Well, I'm not willing to go as far to say that because I don't have sufficient proof that he was drugged. But Deontay Wilder show didn't look like himself. So whenever we can, depending on whenever we get this third fight, like I said, Deontay Wilder, he still need to make some adjustments though. Um, yeah, he still need to make some adjustments in the third fight. But at the end of the day, he need to ask for a referee that's gonna be on Tyson Fury about the constant clinching and the rabbit punching. And Tyson Fury was purposely targeting Deontay Wilder to back at Deontay Wilder's head. Purposely. So it is what it is. I mean, he purposely was doing the shit. But like I said before, Tyson Fury got the complexion protection. So, people not gonna cry foul play because it's Tyson Fury. But I guarantee you, if it was Andre Ward, if it was Floyd Mayweather, if it was Andre Berto, or somebody like that fighting somebody that looked like Tyson Fury, then all of a sudden you'll hear people complaining about that. And then you got Ishe Smith, cooning and buffooning saying that can't stand to see a successful white fighter. And I'm trying to figure out when was the last successful white fighter. I mean, to be honest with you, Caleb Plant ain't reached the ceiling in his career. And like I said before, for him to sit up there and say that fake ass shit, because at the end of the day, I've been doing YouTube for a while. The whole thing with black people as a whole being basically trying to oppress white fighters is just absurd. It kind of bothers me the same way when you have these dumbass white people that be sitting up here trying to make it look like black people oppressed Eminem and shit. And that's why I stay ethering the Eminem fans. So I just think the shit is absurd. Cause like I said, nobody oppressed Tyson Fury. The motherfucker appears to have cheated. Now we already had a proof thanks to various YouTube channels. Boxing Ego been on this. Shout out to Boxing Ego. It's like, okay, man, we got the receipts. Well, Ishe Smith, that's why I was glad that Harrison Lubin ended his career. Because guys like Ishe Smith, they fake, and I guess he needed a little bit of attention. I guess he got his little 15 minutes of fame, so I hope he enjoyed it, because after the day, he won't ever be talked about again. He basically showed his hand. And like I said, most of those people in the Mayweather gym, they don't fuck with they just don't like Wilder, and I just don't understand it. And I think it's hey, what's up? I think it's appalling, for real. I just think it's appalling um what's been going on with Wilder. So, I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we gonna make sure Wilder, um, we gonna make sure this don't happen with Wilder again. At the end of the day, y'all see what time it is with the WBC. They don't want to run an investigation. They talked about Tyson Fury as they champs. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Tyson Fury, your champ. So this is my thing. Let me ask you this: as fans, it don't even matter. Like it don't matter. Like who you are, what you are. Should we even trust the WBC? I'm serious. I think any black fighter that hold a WBC belt should give up the belt. One, for what they did to Deontay Wilder, and two, what they did. I mean, what they did to Franchon Cruz Dezern. Give that lady back her damn belt. The other sanctioned body did. She got her belt back. But Mauricio Sullivan, that's what type of cat he is. At the end of the day, people can't have it both ways. You can't sit up here and praise one guy for one thing and then give him a pass for another. At the end of the day, anybody black that got a WBC belt, they should give that shit up and be like, take your belt back. No wonder Riddick Bowe threw that shit in a garbage can. They got a fighter that purposely, well, I'm not going to say purposely, but got tested and failed a drug test. Had PDs in their system, in which, by the way, we still trying to prove if that chick is really a chick. Because I still need proof that that's really a chick. Okay, they talked about she's supposed to gave birth, but okay, who? I mean, if you got a kid, why don't you have your kid at your fights? Mostly every fighter I know had their kids at their fights. So, okay, for real. I don't believe for a second. I don't believe for a second that that's a genetically born woman. But that motherfucker got caught cheating. It's documented. And it's been like a couple of months, but this person still got the belt. Oscar ain't said shit. And Franchon Cruz Dezern is supposed to be a Golden Boy fighter. but he ain't spoke up for his fighter because the WBC is ran by Mexicans. But keep in mind, these are the same people that accuse black people of that ridiculous notion of basically race baiting and being racist. But yet Oscar got a fighter that signed his promotional company and he ain't doing shit to get that belt back. Because really what they do behind the scenes, sometimes they'll just say, hey man, just let it go, or hey ma'am, just let it go. We'll get you a title shot. We'll get you your look, do the right thing. But we already know in boxing they can't do the right thing. Because doing the right thing in boxing is damn near next to impossible. And so many politics lined up in boxing till it ain't even funny. Like I said, that's why I got tired of covering that shit. I seen the bullshit behind it. I just seen to a certain degree it was just a complete fucking joke. You know, you got reporters that ride with who they ride with. You got the promotional companies. You got, the sanctioning bodies. They all have their favorite person. I've said this and I stand by this. If you a black fighter and you signed to Golden Boy and you thinking about signing to Golden Boy, you should be ashamed of yourself. Nah, Mark, they ain't gonna never do the right thing. Cause like I said, I done been around them people. I done seen it all. Cause like I said, I learned a lot. I covered 14, 15 fights. And like I told you, the interviews you do off camera be way more interesting than the ones you get on camera. While you got a lot of other people lying to you guys and like telling y'all half truths and shit, I'm the guy that's out there trying to get the truth and telling y'all the truth and searching for the truth. At the end of the day, fights can be made. It just come down to the fighter themselves. And like I said, a lot of the shit be pure fabrication. A lot of these fighters do not make what they tell the public that they be making. And then you have a dude who may be in favor of another fighter versus another. He'll sit up there and ride for the other dude and shit. I seen that bullshit. I went through all that shit. I was in them fucking media rooms. I heard what them dudes would be saying. I seen how a lot of them fighters would be acting. I called every fighter out. Wasn't I the one that called the black fighters out? I was one of the first people that called but if not one of the very first person. I called a lot of these fighters out for not, especially the black fighters, for not talking to black media. Oh yeah, I've been good, man. Like I said, I called them fighters out. I called Bud out. I called the Chalo brothers out. I called a lot of them other fighters out for not talking to black media, for being finicky who they talk to. Cause like I said, a lot of these boxers want you to kiss their ass. And I told you I wasn't kissing nobody's ass and begging them to give interviews. And I wasn't gonna slander their name neither. Like I said, I had my issues with Bud, but I got over it. I had my issues with the Chalo brothers. I got over it. But it did bother me as a black person when I would try to talk to some of these fighters and how they would be brushing me off and I ain't gonna say who this dude is, but it was one fighter, man. He had me ready to like really do something to him. He disrespected me real tough. I ain't gonna say his name, but he had me ready to do something to him. And like I said, I'll find it appalling when you got dudes that look like you. They can't wait to talk. Look, I understand. I'm keeping it 100. I understand you wanting to talk to Ellie Setback because Ellie Setback was kind of like the dude. He kind of like the godfather of this shit. So I understand you talking to Ellie Setback. I don't have no problem with the access Ellie Setback gets because Ellie Setback was kind of the dude that like made it what it is. So I understand if you want to talk to Ellie Setback and even Marcos from Fight Hub. So I kind of understand that. But Marcos, I will say this about Marcos from Fight Hub, and it's the honest to God truth. A lot of people don't like Marcos, but I'll tell you this much: whenever me and Marcos did a fight card, Marcos would always make sure that whoever he did an interview would talk to me next. So I will say shout out to Marcos for that. So I got to keep it 100. I don't like how Marcos move at times, but whenever I did a interview with Marcos, I'll tell Marcos, well, you could go first, and Marcos would be like, okay, I'll make sure he talked to you next. And when Marcos got through doing his interviews, he'd say, hey, talk to this dude, talk to him next. So it's cool. But like I said, I saw the bullshit. Just like I told you guys when I went to Arrows, when I went to Bud versus the Mean Machine. Like I said, the WBC, them people with the WBC was the ones, when I asked about the other big fight being made, they pointed all the fingers. I said, hey, why can't this fight get made? They pointed all the fingers at the people from the other side of the street. Because like I said, I have no loyalty to Bob Arum or Al Heyman or Oscar De La Hoya. Or Eddie Hearn. I have no alliance to none of them motherfuckers. I just want them to make fights, figure out how to get these fights done. But based off what's going on now, I don't think boxing gonna be the same after this. When I keep telling people, whenever this shit is over with, whenever this corona shit is over with, you gonna see a dramatic change. This is what people like Kelly Swanson been looking for, because Kelly Swanson is funny style anyway. And that's why I keep trying to tell y'all, don't fall into that bullshit about the PBC being super militant pro-black when they got a person like Kelly Swanson working for them. Kelly Swanson is a horrible person. She is a horrible, horrible person. When I say Kelly Swanson is a horrible person, because like I said before, I know it's some niggas that K for Al Heyman, but that ain't my thing. Because like I said before, you can find a publicist that's at least not as racist as Kelly Swanson. Kelly Swanson is openly racist. I didn't heard her saying racist shit. She said that people don't care about black stories and what black people go through. She said all kind of shit. Like I said, Kelly Swanson is a horrible person, but yet, she worked for the PBC. She worked for Floyd Mayweather. She worked for Al Heyman. Why in the fuck is she there? Kelly Swanson, Mark, is a horrible person. One, she miserable because I think she ain't getting no D. I think, and I ain't talking about no dope, the other kind of D. I think she's sexually frustrated. You know what I'm saying? But she might be getting it now because she ain't got nothing to do now since they canceled all these fights. But Kelly Swanson did say some horrible things. I done heard, and she disrespects certain media members. And like I said, as far as Top Rank go, I don't like some of the shit Top Rank did. I don't like how, Top Rank wouldn't give blue blood credentials, because they wouldn't give blue blood credentials for the Bud versus Mean Machine fight, and I don't know why. But at the same time, here go the PBC, who denied Boxing Ego, my homeboy Boxing Ego, press credentials, and Boxing Ego never said a word. He never said a bad word about the PBC, but yet he couldn't get credential for Wilder Fury 2. So I'm just saying. And then I done seen the PBC. I done seen the PBC quite a few times. Yeah, people that had like 500 subs. This is Once in Communications. I seen them several times give people that had like 500-600 subs on their channel, because I would go to their channels, get in press credentials, but then they would deny people that had more subs credentials. Because I keep asking this question, even when 7-8 was trying to get credentials, they would give 7-8 a hard time, as well as Top Rank. So I'm just saying. And it's really finna be tough now. When this coronavirus shit, you probably ain't even gonna want to go to no fighters, no media member. Cause that access that everybody had in February when Wilder Fury jumped off, they ain't gonna be letting you get up in them they ain't gonna be letting you get up in those fighters' face no more. I'll promise you that. I promise you. They might sit your ass in a room now. They gonna sit your I guarantee you now they gonna sit your ass in a room now probably what's gonna happen is they gonna have one press conference. They ain't gonna have press like media coverage like they would have all week. I guarantee you they gonna change that shit. Cause one, these dudes fighting the stadiums and arenas and shit, and then they got all these various people touching them and around them and shit. I'm telling you, you might as well just watch the shit at home. You're gonna get treated like a regular person now. I guarantee you. Either what they gonna do is they gonna put you behind like how they do the Oscars, how they put the media. They gonna put the media behind a red carpet. They gonna put you on the side of the red carpet, and then I guess they gonna tell the fighters to come talk to you. But you ain't gonna be able, like how we used to cover boxing, like how I used to be all up in the dudes' faces doing, with my camera and all that stuff, doing interviews. That shit finna be over with. It's a wrap for that shit. So I think I got out just in time. So now I could just sit up covering this shit from my house. Cause I think that's what I do better. I done did like all the traveling and shit. I done been fucking everywhere covering fights. I done been to New York. I done been to Philadelphia. I done been Los Angeles several times covering fights. Las Vegas several times. Been in Stockton covering fights. Been in Reno covering fights. So, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, these sanctioning bodies right before your eyes are showing you that they don't give a damn about certain fighters. And it's a shame that Tyson Fury, who ain't from the States, can get better preferential treatment than Deontay Wilder, where you got everybody covering up for him. And the thing is, Deontay Wilder ain't did nothing. Man ain't got no criminal record. Man was a delivery driver who came into boxing at like 19, 20 and got where he was basically off raw talent. Um, I haven't been to the South. I haven't been to the South in a while. I haven't been to the South. I haven't been to the South in like maybe 10 plus years, but I plan to. I plan to. If Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao get made at Cowboy Stadium, I may go to that fight. But I'm gonna talk about Manny Pacquiao. I'm gonna talk about him next. If we can get through the hurdles uh, with Errol Spence and the whole Pacquiao issue, that fight might could happen. But I'm gonna talk about Errol Spence in a minute. I'm gonna talk about this whole Bomac, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford thing, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm sick of all this fucking instigating. So I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that later. But for now, let me talk about the next subject. Let me talk about Bob Arum backing and forthing with this whole Manny Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford thing. We all know, anybody with common sense, we all know that Manny Pacquiao shamefully ducked Bud Crawford when he had ample opportunity to fight him. He just did not want to fight him. But at the end of the day, a lot of people feel that Bob Arum sabotaged Bud Crawford because Bob Arum said out of his own fucking mouth that he killed the fight. And he said that Manny Pacquiao versus Bud Crawford would not even be a competitive fight, which I beg to differ a little bit. I do have Bud beating Manny Pacquiao and probably stopping him. But I do think Manny Pacquiao would have his moments. You know, whether you like Manny Pacquiao or not, I'm not the biggest Manny Pacquiao fan in the world. I do believe that Manny Pacquiao is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do believe that Manny Pacquiao, and I went on record, I believe Manny Pacquiao took performance enhancing drugs, and I stand by that. And I'll tell that to Manny Pacquiao right to his fucking face in front of Freddie Roach. Manny Pacquiao is a great fighter. He's an all-time great in most people's eyes, but I do believe that he took performance enhancing drugs, and I stand by that. But he did not want to fight Bud Crawford. But at the end of the day, Bob Arum should have tried to make that fight. But I know why. I know why Bob Arum said that he killed the fight and to blame him for it. Because he was hoping if he didn't throw Manny Pacquiao under the bus, that he might could possibly get Manny Pacquiao to come back to top rank somewhere down the line and possibly set up a fight with Bud. But here's the thing: Manny Pacquiao wants a lot of money per fight. Let me tell you guys something. Hey Dre, at the end of the day, it's like I said about Barry Bonds. We all know that Barry Bonds, anybody with common sense know that Barry Bonds took something because his head size grew like two or three different sizes. And we all know Barry Bonds all of a sudden got super swole just over, you know what I'm saying, over a year's time. And then but at the end of the day, everybody was doing it. At the end of the day, we all know that Barry Bonds was using something. So what? He didn't pass a performance enhancing. So what? He never failed a PED test. But we all know with common sense that he took something. No, he did not get caught. But our eyes tell us, hey man, come on, man. But they all did it. Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Jeff Bagwell, all them motherfuckers, A-Rod, all them dudes was using that shit. But see, the difference between baseball, and boxing, you can't kill a baseball, okay? But you can kill a person using performance enhancing drugs. And yes, Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he took the shit. He already had like 3 MVPs under his belt. But yeah, Manny Pacquiao started at 108 pounds and went all the way up to 100. He fought at a catch weight at, I think, of 151. That's not normal. And then Manny Pacquiao starts throwing over 1,000 punches in his fights past 28 years old. He has fights where he throws 900, 1,000, 1,100 punches at age 29, 30, 31. That's not normal. That's not normal. Okay? That's just not normal. So whether Manny Pacquiao never failed a drug test or not, your eyes would tell you that, hey man, something wasn't right about that. And then Manny Pacquiao's head reformed. Okay? His head went from being pointy to like being wider. So look, ain't nobody stupid. Ain't nobody stupid. We know Manny Pacquiao took something. And he's been outed by quite a few boxers. I mean, let's get for real. Paulie Malignaggi, who is like a super Deontay Wilder hater, he said flat out that Manny Pacquiao took performance enhancing drugs. Teddy Atlas has flat out said that Manny Pacquiao used performance enhancing drugs. Okay. So how come when Teddy Atlas and Paulie Malignaggi said that it's no backlash? But if I say it, all of a sudden I'm a hater, Oh, I'm a racist. I'm a bigot. I'm this and I'm that. I'm gonna do a you know what I'm gonna do a video about that too, about LeBron James, because I'll talk about that right quick. That's been speculation about LeBron James as well. You know, LeBron James until 2 years ago never played 82 games. LeBron James, I think his last season with the Cleveland Cavaliers, that was like the first season LeBron James played a full 82 games. And there are times when LeBron James, at times, there are times when LeBron James played, he looked like he was 25, 26. There are games that you see LeBron James where he don't even look like he's 30, 35 years old, going on 36. Even at 35, 36, you started to see the decline in Kobe Bryant. You saw it in Kobe Bryant. You saw it in Tim Duncan. Allen Iverson really was broke down at age 30, but he managed to pull through for a few more years. You saw it in a lot of these NBA athletes. They all started to break down. You know, Gary Payton, all those dudes. They wasn't the same because, like I said, I feel like as a as a basketball player, NBA basketball player, especially if you start playing at the age of 18, 19, LeBron James started playing basketball at 17 and a half. That's what people seem to forget. Okay. He started playing basketball at 17 and a half because his birthday is December the 29th or something. Okay. And now he's 35 years old. You should start seeing a decline in LeBron James. But he has some games where he looked like hell. He 25. I saw this in everybody. Dr. J, you saw it in Dr. J. You saw it in Larry Bird. Larry Bird started to break down after 30. You saw it in Latrell Sprewell. Probably in the next 2 years, you're gonna see it with Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is 32. Kevin Durant is gonna be 32, I think, this year. So you're gonna start to see it. When basketball players hit that 34 years of age mark, you start to see them sort of like decline. I wouldn't go as far as to say black genetics. I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but I will say this much. I don't have no proof that LeBron doing something, but I'll just say this much. LeBron been injury plagued his whole career, and I give him credit for a dude to be playing at a high level at age 35. It could be on the up and up, and it could not be. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna sit up there and accuse LeBron of something, but I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. You look at the history of all these basketball players out there. After age 34, they started to decline. You saw it in Kobe. That's all I'm saying about LeBron. I'm not accusing him of nothing, but I'm just saying it is amazing that LeBron James, he has games where he looked like he 25. But LeBron James, the thing is with the NBA, I don't know how often they get tested for PEDs though. Because I don't know, they don't get tested for PEDs as much as the NFL players do, and boxers are supposed to get tested. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna leave LeBron alone, but I am gonna be fair because I owe that to the people that follow me. That you do gotta say this shit because it is amazing. LeBron James at times looked like he could play till he 40. Now, Tom Brady, he in his 40s and he's still playing football because Tom Brady always had the pleasure of having a good offensive line. And the same and here's the thing about Drew Brees. You even can see Drew Brees is even on the decline. And here's the thing about Drew Brees. Drew Brees never had no laser rocket arm. His arm strength was about as a little bit on the same level. I say it was just a little bit above Peyton Manning. Because Peyton Manning didn't have no super rocket arm neither. Ben Roethlisberger, he had an arm. Tom Brady, he had an arm. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Dante Culpepper, he had an arm. I say Matt Ryan, his Cam Newton, he got an arm. You know, but guys like Matt Ryan, um, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, they don't, and Peyton Manning didn't have what you would call cannons. Now Eli, he had a cannon. Yeah, Eli could throw. He had a cannon. It ain't no doubt who had the better arm out of Peyton Manning than Eli. That's not even up for debate. But that's what I'm saying. Michael Vick had a cannon too, believe it or not. Michael Vick had an arm. You never could see it because most of the time he was sitting up taking off running. But that's what I'm saying. Drew Brees is 40 and he talked about he coming back to play. Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, you know, the difference between them, they have what you would call an offensive line. And even Tom Brady don't play the same way at 42 that he played when he was like 34, 35. And we all know Drew Brees don't play the same way he played when he was like in his early 30s. And like I said before, Drew Brees never had what you would call a rocking cannon arm anyway, but he made it work. You know. So, you know, I'm just putting that out there. But I'm not gonna say, like I said, I'm not gonna say that LeBron James is on something, but you gotta just at least say, well, damn, he doing his thing playing at age 35, because LeBron James was a legitimate MVP candidate. Now, I don't think we gonna get the NBA. I don't think we gonna get no NBA. I think the NBA is done for this season. The only thing I think they could do to salvage the NBA season, if they do continue, the NBA, what they would have to do if they want to pick up at least by April or May, they would have to start the season or the playoffs immediately. They would have to play, I think the first playoff series, they would have to play like the first round of the playoffs. They would just basically need to play like maybe a five. I think the first two rounds should be 5-game series. If you're the better team, you should be able to win. Then the next round, then the conference finals, those could be 7-game series. And then, of course, the finals can be a 7-game series. They would just have to look at the team's records and the seeding. And if this coronavirus is gone, they would have to start the season. They could just start the season like in May. They could just like start seeding playoff teams. They could just pick the best 16 teams, and then they could just have everybody just battle it out. I mean, that would be my plan. But yeah, let me get back to Manny Pacquiao, and then I'm gonna go into this whole Bomac versus the world and this whole Errol Spence thing. But getting back to Manny Pacquiao, he just not want to fight Bud Crawford. He don't want to fight him. At the end of the day, it looked like Manny Pacquiao would rather take his chances, even though he didn't want to fight Errol Spence till Errol Spence got in that car accident. But it appears to me he'd rather take his chances with Errol Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford. That's just my thing. You heard Manny Pacquiao on some occasions say he know how to beat Errol Spence, which I think he was capping. I think he was talking shit. I really believe that, because he's had several chances to fight Errol Spence, just like he's had several chances to fight Bud Crawford. Me myself, if Manny Pacquiao don't want to fight neither one of them, he should just give up. He should just give up the WBA and then just call it a day. And then what could happen is Terrence Crawford could fight a elimination bout with somebody, and then he could get that other strap. He could get the WBA strap, and then if he win the WBA strap, then he has, then at the end of the year, early 2021, we could finally get a unification, undisputed fight between him and Errol Spence, depending on how Errol Spence does in his next fight. Now he's supposed to be coming back in June to fight Danny Garcia. We'll see how Errol Spence looks in the Danny Garcia fight. But I just think Manny Pacquiao is looking for a high risk. A high payday with low risk. And as far as Errol Spence go, he just want to take advantage of the fact that Errol Spence ain't looked the same physically, and hopefully not spiritually, because Errol Spence, I don't like how he been looking. I don't like some of the things I've been seeing with him. And like I said, I will address that later on before I end this live stream. And then another reason why Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao could be off the cards, because Manny Pacquiao is not going to fight no Errol Spence for no $2-3 million. Manny Pacquiao ain't taking less. He ain't taking less than 20 million to fight Errol Spence or Terrence Bud Crawford, because Manny Pacquiao wants some big paydays. He figured he still got a name. So the only way for Manny Pacquiao to be guaranteed $20 million, which they can't guarantee him $20 million. No, don't believe what these dudes telling you, man. Don't believe what these other channels telling you. The big issue that's holding up Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence is money above everything else. And then I heard he left the PBC because they didn't want to guarantee him $20 million to fight Errol Spence. Because here's the thing, you don't know if Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao fighting in Las Vegas would be feasible enough for Manny Pacquiao, because once again, if Manny Pacquiao is guaranteed $20 million, one, you got to guarantee that the fight is going to be sold out. And then you got to guarantee that the pay-per-view numbers is going to at least have to be over 1 million. And then you got to ask yourself, Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman did. How much did Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman do? What, 300,000-400,000? It wasn't just a Floyd fight. First of all, Floyd Mayweather had no intentions on ever fighting Manny Pacquiao. He played Manny Pacquiao to get him to PBC. They made a little bit of money off Manny Pacquiao, and that was just the bottom line. And then Manny Pacquiao, like I said, he wants at least $20 million to fight Errol Spence. So you thinking to yourself, okay, the best possible scenario to get that fight made is you could still do the fight in Las Vegas, but you got to try to do that fight at a big venue. Now, you can still get Manny Pacquiao in Vegas, but you got to move that fight to the new Raiders Stadium. But the new Raiders Stadium ain't going to be ready. It ain't even going to be ready to host this first event till like July. So at the end of the day, even if Manny Pacquiao fight Errol Spence, you still looking at August. And then here's the thing. Can you get 60 million tickets sold? 60,000 tickets sold at the new Raiders facility. Can both Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao pack that stadium? So you got to ask that, because that's the only way they're going to be able to pay Manny Pacquiao. And then Manny Pacquiao ain't even going to be able to get a percentage of the gate. Not the whole percentage, because the promoters, most of the promoters and shit, they make their money off the live gate. That's how Bob Arum and them make their money. That's why that fight that I went to, that I covered in Los Angeles, where only like 800 people showed up, or and I'm, maybe 1,000, they took a loss on that fight. They told me that fight with Navarro, that fight in LA at that soccer stadium that hold like about 25,000 people. They took a loss because only like a thousand people showed up for that fight. The promoters make their money off the gate. So once again, you would have another joint promotion. I mean, excuse me, if it's Errol Spence, once again, you would have a PBC promotion, and you got to try to guarantee at least 40,000 tickets sold. And Manny Pacquiao is only going to get a percentage of that gate. You might could pay Errol Spence his money like flat out, plus a percentage of the pay-per-view. But Manny Pacquiao to compensate him for like 20-25 million, he got to get a percentage of the pay-per-view and the live gate. So you have to wonder, and you have to hope that the fight sell. What's up? So you have to hope that the fight sell, or you could take the fight to Dallas, where you might have the chance of the fight doing a certain amount of numbers. But then they said that Jerry Jones bought a big percentage of the tickets for Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. So we don't know what that fight did. We really don't. Because that was the rumor. So like I said, to get Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao, it's going to take a lot of money. And if they do get that fight at the MGM Grand, the ticket prices is going to be astronomical, like Deontay Wilder ticket prices was for Tyson Fury. But I don't know if Errol Spence is going to fight Manny Pacquiao, because I think the car accident changed everything. That was a momentum swing in Manny Pacquiao's direction, because he probably want to see what Errol Spence is looking like. So he probably like, okay. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you seen how Errol Spence looked like physically, you might be like, okay. Then you hearing all these things about Errol Spence's dedication to the craft and everything. So, you just got to wonder. Because at the end of the day, and I'm gonna talk about this thing with I'm gonna move to that right now, and then I'm gonna end the live stream. So everybody, now we can talk about the elephant in the room, which is once again this whole Bud Bomac PBC Top Rank situation, other side of the street, last house on the right. Because most of us saw, I guess you could call that an interview, or more like a confrontation with with Bomac versus Fred, because this is something that's been brewing a long time. And for a solid minute, I got caught up in the middle of that. Now, shout out to Bomac, because Bomac always gave me interviews. But the funny part about it was he used to get me mixed up with Fred, and I used to be like, I'm not Fred. He called me. So he finally was able to separate me and Fred after a while. Jerry Jones bought some tickets. That's fact. I don't know how many tickets he bought, but that's fact. How Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder too was such a success. Those tickets got bought and resold. That's why that fight was mostly of European people versus American people. And they purposely raised those ticket prices to where a lot of people did not want to go. Because like I said, the nosebleed seats was going for like $500. But yeah. But let me get back to this Bomac thing. A lot of people seem to be I'm just gonna say this about Errol Spence, that a lot of people scared to say. Errol Spence need to question his own dedication to the sport. Errol Spence need to start questioning himself. Is this what he want to do? Because at the end of the day, we can can't deny that Errol Spence then made some questionable moves and decisions outside of boxing. We didn't heard about his alleged drinking problem. You know, at the end of the day, Errol Spence have to question himself. It's not up to us to try to, get Errol Spence into AA. We hope Errol Spence is not drinking like everybody's saying he is, but at the same time, we can't cover it up because it's documented facts that Errol Spence was under the influence when he got in that car accident. You know, do I like Bo Mack kind of going in saying a drunk ain't shit? Hey man, come on, man. Don't come on here telling me what to say on my channel, bruh. I never said that Bud can't do no wrong. If you would have listened, when I said when I first started the live stream, Low End Profits, I got on Bud for how Bud acted towards me. Please do not come on here over emotional about Errol Spence. We don't do this on my channel. This is not Fred's channel, man. This is not Fred's channel. This is my channel. We gonna have an adult conversation about Errol Spence. If you cannot grasp or you know what I'm saying, stomach what I'm saying, then maybe you need to leave this live stream. But I am going to say what I want to say. This is my fucking channel. With all due respect. So, once again, let's get back to the Bo Mack situation. Do I like Bo Mack saying a drunk ain't shit or questioning Errol Spence having a drinking problem? I wouldn't go there. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. But at the end of the day, he entitled to his opinion because I sure remember people saying, so let me get this straight. And this is fact. And y'all listen, and y'all know I call it right down the middle. So people can say personal shit about Andre Ward. Cause you know who was saying personal shit about Andre Ward. So it's justified to say personal shit about Andre Ward, but you can't get personal with Errol Spence. This is documented stuff about Errol Spence and the drinking shit. Okay. At the end of the day, like I said, it ain't my duty. I hope Errol Spence is dedicated enough to put that aside because at the end of the day, I think Errol Spence is a special fighter and I think Errol Spence could be a legendary fighter. But like I said, you can, okay, for everybody that's listening, let's just keep it 100. I'm going to say something that we all can agree with. We hold everybody else accountable, right? And I mean, God forbid, I'm pretty sure most of us that's listening to this live stream have children. This ain't got nothing to do with Texas. This ain't got nothing to do with coonery. This ain't got nothing to do with none of that shit. But let's just, okay, it's documented that Errol Spence was under the influence. Luckily, Errol Spence was the only one who got hurt. Errol Spence was the only one that got hurt. What if a kid had been walking down the street and Errol Spence accidentally hit that kid and killed him? And what if it was in particularly a black kid? Will we be sitting up here will we be sitting up here giving Errol Spence a pass? Because at the end of the day, drunk driving ain't cool. Okay? That's not cool. The same way Fred said that he have tough love for Bo Mack and Terrence Crawford. Well, why don't you have that same fucking tough love for Errol Spence? You shouldn't be drinking and driving. That's just fact. That's just fact. What if he had killed the kid? Or what if he had killed anybody? Then what would people be saying? Because we all got to call this shit right down the middle. We got to call this shit right down the middle. And that would have been tragic. Then we really would have had a problem. So that's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, yeah, Errol Spence is a grown fucking man. He a 30-year-old man. He a 30-year-old man. But guess what? If I have too much to drink, I will either sit my black ass down and wait till I sober up, or I'll drink a Red Bull, and that'll quickly help me sober, or a rock star that'll help me suppress the alcohol, and that'll help me sober up. Because we all know, had a child or something, or Errol Spitz had killed somebody, then what would we be saying? So once again, you can't show inconsistent for real. You got to call the shit right down the middle. And if Bud had did that shit, I will hold his ass accountable. I mean, we got to keep this shit. We got to keep this shit thorough. See, nobody don't want to bring that up. So that's just fact. Now, like I said, I don't like what Bomac. I don't like what Bomac be doing. I think Bomac shouldn't get too personal. But at the end of the day, for the people that call themselves criticizing Bomac for his comments, but then how come certain people ain't getting criticized for getting too personal with Andre Ward? Because I mean, everybody questioned Andre Ward's blackness a year ago, so that was getting personal. But everybody enjoyed that. Like I said, people be contradicting themselves, and people got to stop being hypocrites and shit. You can't sit up there. You can't sit up there and have it in for one dude because they say something you don't like, but then it's okay for the other dude to say something that you may or may not like, and then you give him a pass. So I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it 100. At the end of the day, this fight need to take place. It need to take place. It need to get done, so we all can move on with our regular lives, so this shit can end. I think. I think the end of the year is the perfect time to make this fight, and I think if Manny Pacquiao would just get the fuck out the way, just give up the belt, and let Terrence Crawford fight somebody in an elimination bout, or at least a championship bout for that WBA title. Like I said, Errol Spence got his two belts. Bud have his two belts, and the winner of that fight get undisputed. So you have double history being made. You got both fighters making a substantial amount of money, and then we have history. You know, because I cannot remember the last time we had a welterweight undisputed champ. And if Bud can be able to become undisputed in two weight classes, that solidifies his legacy. Because at the end of the day, this is an important fight. Yeah, I know about that. I know. Yeah, but he got shot, and he took himself to the hospital. And I'm not giving Bud a pass neither. I don't know about him being in the shootout, but I know he got shot. I know he got shot in the head, and he took himself to the hospital. So at the end of the day, once again, it don't come down to like holding somebody less accountable, because at the end of the day, bullets ain't got no names. So we got to stop, like, for real. Like I said, we got to stop like making this about who do more. And the thing is with Bud's incident was a while back. The Errol Spence situation happened in September, and it was highly documented. So no, I'm not overlooking what Errol Spence did versus what Bud did. But it seemed to me that you trying to do the distraction tactic, because we not talking about Bud. We talked about Errol Spence. We talked about his current problem. Bud, for whatever reason, he seemed to have stayed out of trouble, out of Johnny harm's way. Hey, DB, it's cool, man. It's cool. It's cool. Relax, you guys. At low end profits, it got to make financial sense on both ends. Once again, it's not about people's resume. It's just not just on Bob, man. It's not just on Bob. It's on everybody to make this fight happen. It's on Al Heyman's part. It's on Bud's part. It's on Errol Spence's part. It's not just Bob Arum. Like I said, everybody got to participate to make this fight happen because this fight can't happen without neither Errol Spence's signature or Bud's signature. That's the only way that fight is going to happen. At the end of the day, the promoters can talk all the shit they want, but at the end of the day, that fight is only going to happen if it says in an ironclad contract that Bud and Errol Spence agree to fight each other. All the other shit is meaningless. Okay? All I want is to fight. I don't give a fuck about Errol Spence's resume. I don't give a fuck about Bud's resume. At the end of the day, the fight need to happen. This ain't about the A side or the B side because I'm gonna keep it 100. Errol Spence ain't that much A side to Bud's B side, and that's just fact. I think DB, that's the fight. I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think if Errol Spence and Bud happen with, even though all this mass hysteria jumping off, I think that fight can succeed Wilder versus Fury. Now, we don't know what the exact pay-per-view numbers is, but I think if this fight is properly promoted, I think this fight can do a million pay-per-views. I think it can do 1.1 easily. It's a fight that people was clamoring to see. At the end of the day, I just want this fight. I don't care about the A side, the B side. I don't care about 60-40. I don't care about is Al Heyman's fault the fight ain't happening or is Bob Arum. I just want the motherfucking fight to happen because the fans deserve it. If we can get Errol Spence and Deontay Wilder both fighting big fights in the same year versus, I guess, the biggest fights that could be made on the opposite side of the street, everybody wins. Everybody wins. You hear me? Everybody. Okay? We all win. It don't matter who you think gonna win. I could care less. If you think Bud is gonna get the shit beat out of him, that's fine. If you think Bud is gonna beat the shit out of Aerosmith, that's fine too. But we're not never gonna find out until we can get this fight made. Because as I said before, it ain't really that big of hurdles to jump over. It just come down to who wants this fight more. And as I said before, the fans got to do they part. And me, I'm not finna sit up here and play promoter. I'm not finna sit up here and say who should get what, who should get this, who should get that. At the end of the day, this motherfucking fight need to happen. As far as Bomac go, I don't think Bomac should say stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's his right. You know what I'm saying? It's his right. I don't like it, but I don't think Bomac is like. Of course we would. This would be our fight. Bud versus when we stop nut hugging. See, here's the thing, DB. When we stop nut hugging the Errol Spence apologists and the Bud apologists, the better off we gonna be. It's okay to root for one person more than the other, but when we stop doing the extreme nut hugging, that's the better off we'll be. That's gonna be our fight. This will be our modern day Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, or Marvin Hagler versus Thomas Hearns. You know, that'll be our modern day fight. And it's at, you know what I'm saying? And it's at welterweight. It's a big fight. I mean, two brothers going at it. You know what I'm saying? Because for years, I think that's a fight that need to be made since everybody talking this shit about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, since everybody decided to make that fight about race. Well, the Tyson Fury fans. So that's the best thing that could happen in boxing. This fight need to take place sooner than later. I think it's at its peak now. I think this will be the biggest fight that could be made this year. And I think it'll be a good healing. I think this will be the fight that could bring casual and regular boxing fans back to the arenas and actually paying $80, $90 for a pay-per-view. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Another mistake that I think pay-per-view is making, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I believe less can actually lowering the prices could actually lead to more pay-per-view sales and more money. Because at the end of the day, let's just face the fact. You selling these pay-per-views for $80 a pop. Nobody don't want to pay no $80, $90 to see fights no more. And based off what's happening now, based off how the economic structure is now, based off the coronavirus, based off people might or might not be getting stimulus package, they need to lower the price of this fight. If it was me, this fight need to just take place in Las Vegas. It need to take place in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand and just call it a day. Everybody gonna bring their ass to Las Vegas. This fight shouldn't be in Nebraska and it shouldn't be in Dallas. It's a Las Vegas fight, and worst case scenario, Los Angeles is either a Los Angeles fight or it's a Las Vegas fight. Nevertheless, this fight need to be somewhere in the West. I think Madison Square Garden is doable, but I think this is a Las Vegas fight. Me, I think it's Las Vegas. And we need to get this fight did by the end of the year. Real talk. So we can go on about our normal life. I think this is the perfect fight to basically help people heal off what didn't happen, you know, you know, in the month of March. I mean, first choice for me myself, first choice for Bud versus Errol Spence would be Las Vegas MGM Grand. Second choice would be the Staples Center. Uh, Third would be either Madison Square Garden or the Barclays Center. So since they both in New York, I'll just add that together since they both in New York. So that would be the worst case. That would be the worst case scenario. I think this fight will do big numbers if they promote this fight right. I mean, like I said, this fight would be the perfect healing, healing situation for what's going on. It really would be. Because I mean, Bernard Hopkins versus Felix Trinidad in 2001 was the perfect remedy after post 9/11. It gave people something to take their minds off of. And basically, 2020 has been tragic already. You didn't have the passing of Kobe Bryant, then you didn't have this coronavirus where people was just going nuts. Where I never thought I'd live to see the day where I'm seeing an actual outbreak and actual possible, which I did predict that this shit would possibly happen, where we could be on the brink of, martial law and purges, the actual purge. So yeah. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I'm out.